We mentioned before the break, Jim Harbaugh at the podium speaking has put a bit of a timetable on Tarik Black, said it was a very similar injury to last year, and he will be out for, quote, some weeks.
That's the timetable?
Well, I mean, basically it means he's not playing Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a blow. I think it's their most explosive offensive weapon. They're not better today than they were when they had him. It goes without saying. I'm not saying they can't beat Notre Dame, and I'm not saying there aren't guys that can step up and play.
Yeah.
Because there are guys that can step up and play.
Well, and I think this puts a much more of a microscope on Shea Patterson. To be able to find those guys that are going to be step up, that are going to step up, that are going to be open, that are a part of the offense now that maybe weren't a week ago.
But the first big storyline of the Michigan season is dealing with this injury. And to your credit, you pointed out that the Nico Collins had really shown a lot. And this was last week. And they got guys. I mean, they got guys that can make plays. But I can't emphasize that enough. And no, I do not think this means they don't beat Notre Dame. But I just think they lost their most explosive offense. You know who's got a most explosive offensive player? Everybody.
Right.
And so when you cross that name out, it's up to the guys that are there to fill in to step up.
The expectation is always for the position, not the player.
248-539-9797. Ticket text 97136. My champ, Alan Trammell, just a class all the way, totally deserving. I hate to do this, but my chump is Lou Whitaker. What the hell was that speech? It was so painful I had to turn it off. What does NASCAR have to do with Trammell? I hope when he gets in the Hall of Fame, he gets someone to write a speech. I didn't hear what Lou said.
I didn't either.
Did anybody hear Lou? Did he say something really weird?
Lou. I always thought they were booing him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Somebody explained that to you?
Yeah.
If anybody wants to clarify it and whether or not it's truly worth chumping him, let us know. But,
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Do you think this upcoming college football weekend with games on Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is the greatest college football weekend that we have? Or is it championship weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, when we basically have NFL on Thursday, but then you've got college games Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Not championship weekend, rivalry.
You have rivalry games.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a better weekend, but the case can be made that, I sat through Colorado State, Hawaii on Saturday night. I did not turn it off when it was 37-7. And later, when it was 40-34, I was pretty fired up.
Yeah.
That I stuck with it. If that was week 6,
would you turn it off?
I probably would have turned it off. But because it was week 1 and I had real football, when it was 37-7, Hawaii up on Colorado State, I left it on 37-14, 37-21, 37-28, 40-28, 40-34. I was fully engaged.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I go back and forth because I get to the rivalry weekend and I think, well, these games are so great because there's so much riding on them and the rivalries are good.
Yep.
But at this time, we're just so starved for football. It's going to be a great weekend.
From BT, haven't lost hope with the Lions, but start holding Stafford accountable for his play per dollar. A lot of excuses. They invest a lot around him. Well, hold on, BT. If he starts playing like this in the regular season, I'll be far more concerned. Far more concerned. Matthew Stafford has, in the eyes of the league, has gotten better and better the last couple of years without Calvin Johnson. So I don't feel like we're making excuses if we're not destroying Stafford in the preseason.
No, and I'm not throwing up the red flag on the whole season, but it doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence in our offense, in our defense, in our special teams after this weekend.
No,
that we're going to be better than 9-7.
248-539-9797 from Jake. I think the fact that we have a coach implementing brand new schemes has a lot to do with our preseason performance so far, especially with a new coach implementing brand new schemes. Kind of said the same thing twice. Jake,
it's only on one side of the ball.
Yeah, that's defense is yes. Offense is the same coordinator.
Yeah, same coordinator, same play caller, same quarterback.
Things will be a little bit different, but I don't.
Well, they should be different in that we could do more because we're supposed to have an improved offensive line. We're supposed to have an improved backfield. Matt's supposed to be continuing to improve. Have we seen that?
Not really.
No. So,
But-
I mean,
I'm not as worried about the offense, John. I'll be honest with you. It's the defense. I'm telling you, man. I'm just telling myself.
Why? What in the last 3 weeks, what gives you confidence that our offense is going to do anything?
Because I'm just hoping everything's straight vanilla, straightforward. Listen, the defending Super Bowl champs, the Eagles, the first team hasn't scored a point this preseason. I don't think they should be going, over the top worried about that either. I think it's just preseason stuff. It's the defense. And like I said earlier, I hope it's just vanilla, no scheme, straight up, no blitzing. No, it's just
But you could say that
evaluating
about
positions.
all 32 teams.
Yes, you could.
And we don't look good.
At the end of the half, I already went off earlier on how I was worried about Matt Patricia's game management, right? And you kind of brought up, Stafford can't take a sack. Maybe he should call a timeout, whatever. I got to tell you, that's the least of my worries about. With a guy with so many comeback victories, I think he knows how to handle a clock situation with timeouts, things like that. I really feel, or I'm hoping, that they went to a hurry-up offense and no huddle because he was told to. With 3 timeouts, it makes no sense whatsoever to do that otherwise, right?
But why would you tell him? Why would you
I
tell
don't
him?
know.
Why? What?
Because to simulate a game where you only have 1 timeout left.
No, but you're not in that game. You're in a game with 3.
I agree with you. I'm trying to figure out why the hell they did that.
The only thing that makes sense is, okay, we've worked a lot on 2 timeouts, 3 timeouts. We haven't worked a lot on 1 timeout or no timeout. So let's put
Please don't
ourselves in
tell
that.
me that's the reason.
I don't know what the reason is.
Because we have to reason it because, listen, we all agree the results of the games in preseason don't matter, but it's how you perform in certain situations, right? That situation fail by Matt Patricia. If you're telling me you have 3 timeouts and that's how it goes down, not good. So tell me you were working on it like you had 1 timeout.
From an unnamed texter, has it dawned on anyone that the defending Super Bowl champions are 0-3 in the preseason and lost 5-0 to the Browns? I'll wait for the regular season to panic. I mean, look, we talk about false hope of 3-0, and this is probably false concern.
I would be concerned if I was in Philly.
Would you?
Yeah, I'd be concerned. They haven't looked good.
I wouldn't. I'd still be drunk.
You'd still be trying to climb that greased
light pole. First thing I noticed is that Stafford rarely changed the play at the line, and they played different lineups, especially on D. Glover sat most of the second series. Too many years in the past, the Lions tore it up in the preseason, then stunk in the regular season. Maybe now they'll stink in the preseason. They'll tear it up when it counts. That's from PJ on a rooftop in Berkeley. Here's one. Castle should be our starting quarterback. He actually produced offense and points. Stafford stunk out loud. He even got a receiver crushed instead of throwing it away. Castle is better than Stafford.
No. Let's be realistic.
I think he isn't scheming, all caps, anything. At least I hope. For the most part, we're healthy. Let's just get through the week. Let's get through this week, and let's be ready. From Joe, one thing that bothered me was clock management before the half. It was a seam from Caldwell Strikes Back. 248-539-9797. Ticket text 97136. Look, man, I'm as interested as everybody and concerned, but the more we talk through this, the more I'm going back to it's just preseason.
Mm-hmm. Go for it. Go back to it.
Okay, but I understand that were there successful players in this league that weren't wired like you? Like you took the preseason very seriously.
Sure. There's no question there is. But at some point when you're on the field, you see the light come on. And I'm not saying everybody has to be a rah-rah guy. That's not it at all. But you have to produce. You have to, Darius Slay, be the Pro Bowler.
248-539-9797. Let's go to Chuck in Dearborn. Hi, Chuck.
Hey, what's going on? How are you guys?
Good.
So, just want to talk about the half. Everyone's jumping on Patricia. Guys, but, the number one thing with the preseason is nobody needs to get hurt. We've done that so far. Nobody's hurt. Everything's good. And we're getting on him about the end of the half. Maybe he really wanted to attempt the long field goal, give Prater an opportunity there. At the same time, I don't think Stafford has anything to prove by running a 2-minute drill against Tampa Bay in the preseason. We know he can pull it off. Those are my thoughts on that situation. That doesn't mean that he's a bad coach. He hasn't lost the game yet. We're just jumping on him as if like we're 0-5 to start the year. You know, got to give the guy, cut him some slack a little bit. He just got in there.
Chuck, thank you for the phone call. I want to make one thing clear here because I don't want this to be misinterpreted. Kang, when you and I were talking about why they possibly went 45 seconds and ran one play, and we're like, well, maybe, just maybe, he said, act like you only have one timeout. Before anybody says we're making excuses for him, I can't figure out one plausible reason why they wouldn't have used their timeouts.
No.
So, trying to, what the hell were they doing?
The alternative is he has no clue what he's doing.
Right.
No, well, yeah. So basically,
if presume that,
if you're saying, hey, that's as far out there to me. Hey, presume you've got one timeout and play like that, as saying, yeah, okay, hey Matt, I want you to take a sack and see if we can hit a 61-yarder.
Well, that didn't happen. There's no way that happened.
So I mean, it's the same thing. How can you? You got.
Then
I'm
really worried because his game management is so far from what I've seen, where a critical situation came up, he failed.
Lions did make a trade today to try and address the defensive front, getting a former first-round pick. We'll get to that today at 12:32. It's Carson. Excuse me. My bad. Carson Anderson. Got a drink of water. John Jansen's in for Gator, and maybe for me. 97 won the ticket.